So basically this is just a tap and tubing setup here. On this tree here we've got two taps on it because it's over 24 inches in diameter. This one's probably around 27, so a good size. We've got the two taps, one here and then one on the other side. To set the tap, basically we're just getting a 5/16 drill bit and drilling about 1.5 inches, no more than 2 inches into the tree, up at a slightly about a 10 degree angle, and then we're just going to seat the tap in there. Then you use a hammer just to tap it in until it's firm. You can still see there's a good chunk of it coming out, and then we'll attach the tubing down, and then this is like a T-fitting, and then from that T it then runs down into the bucket, and then the sap just collects in here throughout the day. And then every evening we come back and go collect the sap, and then start the process over the next day. So basically this is the sap in here. The sap's probably anywhere from 2 to 3% sugar content. Comes under here. It's above the pump, so the pump gets the pump at pressure. This is the booster pump that you'd see in just a regular underwater filtration type system. Comes out down this pipe and then into this. This is a 5 mic water filter with just a regular canister filter that takes out any particles that may be in it, and then it just runs through 3 just residential reverse osmosis membranes. You just buy from that you can get from Lowe's or from online in various places. They just run 3 in series. So as it comes down, you've got the water can travel through the membrane, and then that comes out and then goes into this hose up here and goes into the sink, and then the rest of it, the non-water, which is the concentrate, which is what we're looking for, which is the sugar content, that comes out the other line, and then it goes back into the next filter, out into the next filter, then finally through this needle valve, and then into this bucket. And you can see that normally sap is clear like water, and this is whereas this is you can see a slightly golden color because of the higher sugar content. And then you can just change the needle valve a little bit to adjust the flow rate into here, and that'll just adjust the percentage of sugar that's coming through. You can let this run throughout the night. This has just stopped running now, but it's been running for about 27 hours straight. So basically the way it works is we get the sap out of the trees, and that's anywhere from 2 or 3%, and that's what we got in the buckets here. Some of these buckets are a little bit higher sugar content, having run them through a reverse osmosis process to take out some of the water ahead of time to reduce the amount of boiling. And then from the buckets, they get put into here. This is like a preheater pan that just takes the edge off, because these are all stored at 40 degrees. It just allows the water temperature of the sap to come up a little bit so we can keep the boil going in. The way this evaporator works, it's got 4 different channels. So I put the cold sap in here, and then it runs down here. There's a small hole here, back up, back down, and then it ends up over there. I can draw it off, and the idea being is that it's been in the evaporator the longest over here, so I'm pouring in sap here, and by the time it's traveled through all the channels, it should be close to syrup on the other side there. But that takes, to establish that kind of a gradient where you can start drawing it off, you probably need anywhere from 50 to 70 gallons to go through it. So it takes a while to establish that. So normally what I'll do is I'll just take off, once I finish boiling everything through, I'll bring it back down again, and then I'll draw it off, and then I'll finish it on one of these and on a propane burner, and that just gives you a little bit more control. And then when it's done, we'll just check with a hydrotherm and make sure it's at the right 66 to 67 bricks. And then at that point we can then put it through a series of filters that takes out all the small particles and all the rest of that kind of stuff. just sometimes when it boils up a little bit too much, you just got to. It's always good to have an extra little bit of sap on hand, just to help cool things down again. And this is getting along in the process. So there is some of this that's going along. So it's I will draw some of this off soon as part of that process. But other than that, it's really just boiling water. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but the smaller the bubbles is when it's much closer to syrup. So you know, normally with the water you get big rolling bubbles, and then as it gets more and more dense, the bubbles will come a lot finer, and then that's when you can. That's one of the indicators that it's starting to get ready to syrup. We've still got a little ways to go with this. This is a hydrotherm in here, and so basically the way this works is that it's temperature adjusted. So you can see the red line in there, and that adjusts. Obviously that goes up like a regular thermometer, and then these increments are all in 2/10 of a bricks. And so I'll fill this up with the sap or the syrup, and then dump it out again to get this warm, and then put it back in again so it's kind of preheated. And then I'll drop this in here, and then it will bob around. And when it's done, basically the water or the syrup elevation will be at the same elevation as the red line there, and that's when you know it's at 66 bricks. And that's basically the indicator that you know the syrup's good and it's official. And with that in there, I can just drop this in. And you can see, still got a ways to go. And but ideally, this should float right at that red line once it's dense enough.